listening to the Motor Mouth.
What's wrong with chrome stick-on flames?
Motor Mouth!
What's wrong with stuff like that?
Hey, Chris. Hey, Ray.
I'm glad they both could make the show.
I tell you, I was fearful to come here.
You have to be easy on it. You know, you can't beat it to death.
I tell that to Ray all the time. I never listen.
Getting back to automotive nonsense.
I'm excited for two reasons today. It has nothing to do with Chris.
Motor Mouth, that's a good friend to tell you you suck.
You're a piece of work.
You guys fishing for a phone call, so I gave you one.
Our trained staff of 2 will help.
Hi, I'm here to help.
We'll put you in a car. We'll see if you're as bad behind the wheel as you are behind the mic.
After that introduction,
Motor Mouth!
I can't wait to hear what I'm going to say.
You guys are great, and your show is great.
Every week they talk about cars on this show.
Yeah, I hope you guys don't have sponsorship deals.
Called Motor Mouth Radio.
I thought this was Dr. Ruth. I'm sorry.
It's the best damn talk show here at the station.
Believe it or not, you steered me in the right direction.
The Motor Mouth, the second greatest show ever.
I don't want to prolong this agony because I'm sure there are other people who want to call.
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time.
Hey, listen, I get you guys going over there.
We don't need to know that you took the car to ballet lessons and then to ShopRite.
I'm not a car guy, but I really enjoy listening to your guys' show, man.
Yeah, I want to know what the is wrong with my car.
Okay, you guys are usually very technically correct.
Motor Mouth!
I'm glad Ray doesn't give me enough time to think about it, because then I might change my mind.
There are answers, sometimes correct ones, and we may have them.
Motor Mouth Radio, 90.3 FM, WHPC.
Motor Mouth!
This is Motor Mouth Radio, your 1-hour automotive talk show. And now, here are your Motor Mouths, Chris Switzer and Ray Guarino.
All righty, don't just settle for crappy talk radio. No. Settle for us. We're Motor Mouth Radio, your 1-hour automotive talk show right here on Long Island. I'm Chris Switzer, and of course, here's a man that just recently canceled his subscription to Playboy. Yeah, for obvious reasons. He'll tell you all about it from right behind the shop bench. It's Ray Guarino. How are you, my brother? Excellent. You look excellent. A lot of yeks going on.
Yeah.
How you been, brother?
Pretty good. Pretty busy.
Yeah?
A lot of stuff happening.
I know. You've been running around like a one-legged man in a poop-kicking contest right here.
Once the Indian summer kicks in, this is really my favorite time of year.
This is.
I like to work outside.
You do everything that normal summertime people do. You do it now.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Walk around in a bathing suit.
I was wearing my shorts. Wearing shorts again. Come home, change into the shorts. That's the thing to do.
Wow, the regular of the Guarino household.
I've been doing automotive work outside, yard work. I've been doing concrete work. You name it. I've been doing, like you said, the stuff people do in the summer, I do now.
Yes, and I've been painting too. You can see my hands are covered in paint. This is the construction show today.
You're supposed to get it on the wall, not the beam.
That's true. And you can watch us on vaughnlive.tv/motormouthradio. See which finger I got paint on.
Hey, Chris, we're scheduled to have a very good show today, but just in case
we don't have a very good show.
Things happen. And it wouldn't be. The only way it won't be good is if we don't connect with the guest that we have for today.
Right. Who's the guest that we may connect with today?
Oh, a great guy, good friend of ours. Well, now he's going to be a good friend of ours. Yes. Lou Santiago from. He's a local guy, but he's from the TV show on Velocity now called Car Fix. He was also on Muscle Car with Jared Zimmerman, his co-host on Car Fix as well. But
so he's our new borough brother.
Yeah. But I want to mention this before, because in case something happens in his world and he can't call, guys have important things to do instead of calling this show. So let me mention this now, because I promised our other good friend, Pilot Paul, I would do this.
Okay.
There's a show this weekend. It's get a load of this, the Big Sandbar chapter of the AMCA, the Vanderbilt region of the AACA, and the Bayport Aerodrome Society. They're presenting a celebration of vintage transportation.
Wow.
Vintage motorcycles, automobiles, and airplanes. And that's going to be this Sunday, October 18th, at the Bayport Aerodrome. I don't even know where that is.
Neither do I.
But it's 10 to 3. The car show will feature antique cars from 1900 to 1940, right up your wheelhouse.
Yes, brass era. I love good brass.
Vintage cars from 41 to 80. And
that's your era.
The bike show will have antiques from 1900 to 1940, as well as vintage from 41 to 80. It's at the Bayport Aerodrome, which is on 60 Vitamin Drive out in Bayport, New York. And Paul has told us...
I want to live on Vitamin Drive.
You can contact Jim, 516-381-4408 for information. Paul said if we come out to the show, he'll give us a ride in his 1946 Piper Cub.
Wow.
Airplane.
Paul said that?
Yes, he did.
Hey, that sounds like fun.
It could be a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, son of a gun. How are you in flying? Do you get queasy
No.
In an airplane?
No.
You
I
don't have
haven't
to take a Dramamine or anything like that?
haven't been in many small planes. I have flown in an open cockpit biplane.
Come on.
Yeah. Up at Rhinebeck, which I thought was a gas and a half.
Yeah.
It was great.
How many bugs did you get in your teeth?
None. They give you a little flying cap, like a leather flying cap and goggles.
You look like Snoopy.
You do, but what they should have given you was earplugs or earphones, because what happens is in a biplane, the passenger sits in the front of the pilot.
Correct.
Right behind the total constant loss oil engine. And what that means is they use mineral oil to lubricate these things, and the oil is just constant loss, so it's always dripping out. But those things are loud.
Wow.
Really loud.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, you should have had earplugs, would have been cool. But when you're up there flying, it's serene. It's really cool in an open plane. I really liked it. I would have had him do a couple flips or a couple. I don't know about a hammerhead stall. I would have gone for the flips. I would have gone for the maneuvers.
Right. The hammerhead stall is when they get the plane up in the air and they just stop it in midair, pointing straight up, and they let it drop. Right. And then it turns and they. And then
once the fuel can flow again, the engine
Yeah.
I don't know about that. And I don't think I'd like the kamikaze stall, which is the straight down.
No. I don't want to trust my machinery that much.
The good thing is with a plane like that, he can glide it and land with no power. There's enough wing space. In fact,
like this show,
when they come in and do what's called a slip landing. The plane sits. If you look at it on the ground, it looks like a gasser because it's nose high.
Of course.
And now the pilot flying it is looking up. He's not looking. He can't see where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they have a hole in the floor that he can see through.
Oh,
like the little red wagon, the wheel standing wagon.
Right.
The plane has 2 speeds, which I found out, which is idle and full throttle. Because as we're coming in,
it's like your GTO.
Pretty much, we're coming in for our landing on a grass field. And you can see the field, you see the tracks, and he's turning, and all of a sudden you hear no engine anymore. And the plane stalled. Like, no, he went to idle. But you were so used to hearing, full throttle.
Oh, then when it's idling, it sounds like it's not running at all.
It does. So if this strip of wood here is the landing strip.
Got a visual here. Point to the strip of wood here. I'm getting the microphone out of the way.
The plane comes down and then does this. He goes 90 degrees or almost 90 degrees to the runway so he can look over and see the runway.
Is that why they do that?
This is called a slip landing. And when he knows it's the right time, he straightens the nose and then brings the plane down.
I always wanted to know why a plane doesn't come down straight. It always comes down on some sort of 45.
Well, it would only be a type of plane where you couldn't see out of a window or don't have instruments to guide you.
Yeah.
And that's a slip. And then once I knew I wish I would have known that beforehand because I would have been a little less anxious.
Here I am thinking that it was probably going to be some sort of complicated explanation. Yeah, and it's just so we can simply say, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Very, very simple. Very simple. And it made perfect sense. And the pilot we flew with was an ace, so it was a lot of fun.
Son of a gun. So we have a little bit of time to get your calls in before we hear from Lou. 516-572-7440. There's your phone number to get a hold of us right here at Motormouth Radio.
You doing the oil changes this week?
No, but I did.
So the driveway's clean.
Yeah, of course the driveway's clean. I didn't touch a car.
That good.
No, but I did have a little bit of an emergency. I have to laugh because I'm always making fun of my wife. She always picks up nails in her tires, but they never go through. I always take the tire off the car. I always run it over to the tire shop. I always hand it to the guy. Guy pulls the nail out. No air comes out. He sprays it with the soap. He goes, "You're fine." Hands the tire back to me.
I mean, she still has good tread on the tires.
Yes, but
she's not hitting a sipe.
It's happened at least 3 times.
Yeah.
So just yesterday, I'm driving along and I'm feeling the car, my Pathfinder, pull a little bit. I'm like, why is this thing pulling? I'm thinking maybe it's because I'm in the slow lane. I'm on the side by the curb. And sure enough, I pull into the parking lot, I get out, and I look, the tire's almost flat.
Wow.
And I just patted my hand around the tread just to see maybe I can find the nail. Oh, no, I found the hole.
Wow.
So I got in the car, I ran it back over to the closest gas station that had air, and I pumped air in it just to get it to the next step. It was like lily pad to lily pad.
Yeah.
Got it to the next step where I went over to the guy and he plugged it. And unfortunately, the plug didn't hold as well because when I drove the car home that night, because I was at work, drove it home, the plug was leaking. I heard it leak.
Yeah.
So the next day, last night, I took it over to my guy that I always bring my wife's tires to, and I go, this one really does have a hole in it. So he was able to give me a patch.
More headphone volume, please?
I sure
Thank
will.
you.
And let's go to the phones so we can take advantage of Ray's headphone volume and say hi, you're on with the Motormouths.
Hey, it's Kevin from Massapequa.
What's up, my brother?
Kev?
How are you?
Are you guys familiar with Nassau County ticketing?
Somewhat, yeah.
Oh, we've gotten a few. Why?
Okay, Sunday night, Monday night, midnight, I get pulled over. I didn't have my insurance card.
Ooh,
so
that's not good, Bunky.
All right, so he couldn't have put. There's nobody on the road. He's got pulled. It went from 40 miles an hour to 15, but I'm not going to ticket that. You don't have your insurance card. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the ticket, and it says, if you're going to plead guilty, mail this in 48 hours.
Right, 48 hours.
That's what it says on the bottom in small print. So I go to my insurance company the next day, that afternoon, and they said, well, look, I can't get you the letter for 2 days, maybe 3 days.
Ooh.
Now, my appearance court date, the appearance date on the ticket is November 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
Do I just, when I get the letter, just mail it in?
Oh, good question. That is a good, why is it only 48
hours?
I'll
compound it. I pulled an officer over yesterday. I told him the story. He goes, I've never read the ticket because it's one of those hear ye tickets now. It's not the one that comes in triplicate. They just spit it out of the machine in the car.
Yeah, son of a gun.
Because I've never read it. Because I don't even know.
The officer did not read the ticket. Wow.
Well, yeah, maybe the desk sergeant, maybe somebody else a little higher up may know.
I'm shocked at that 48-hour deadline.
Just in on the teletype. Christian is telling us, go to Cooper Street, that's in Hempstead.
Right.
And get the guy with the glasses. That's the guy who will work with you. So I'll look for a guy with glasses.
Now talk about an answer to a question.
All right, wait, there's another part to it.
Ooh.
Someone said, call Cooper Street. So you dial the 2700 number. It's a constant, press 1 for this. No live humans come on the phone.
Well,
you can't speak to anybody.
Christian clarified, it's the guy with the glasses with the mustache.
Oh, there you go.
And if he says plaid hat next, I'm going to know this is a joke.
A lot of times, Kev, I noticed with the phone technology, if you just stay on the line, Don't press 1 for English. Just stay on the line.
It'll default to
Sometimes it defaults to an operator.
Or sometimes a 0 will work.
Yeah. And if you
hit 0, if you hit 0, this has been disconnected.
Yeah, they're smart. Okay.
Well, yeah, they're getting wise.
Well, take a drive over to Hempstead.
Either that or can you have the insurance company email you the letter? They have to mail it?
Well, that when I went to my insurance company, she's like, I need to see the ticket. All right. So 2 hours later, I go back. She goes, can't you give me a letter? No, it's got to be handwritten from the company.
Wow.
I said, you guys do insurance cards online?
Yeah.
She goes, no. She goes, and the woman in the next cubicle, she goes, I'm on the line with a customer right now. The cop's standing right there. And he goes, will you accept the online? The cop goes, no, I want to see the card. She goes, okay.
What is like Bedrock Insurance?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Kevin, I just bought another car for my wife, and to put it on the road, we wanted to do it at a certain time frame, and I said, listen, call the insurance company, have them email me a copy of that card, which they did. I printed it, and DMV took it, so...
Yeah, DMV does.
But the court doesn't have the same regulations as DMV.
That is true. But the court doesn't want to see the insurance card. They want to see a letter.
A letter from the insurance stating that Kevin Brown had insurance on such and such date. Blah blah blah.
You need to change cars. Christian just told me here
that change insurance.
That he went in with 8 tickets and left with 1 because he saw he was driving a '64 Chevy. So maybe it's just a little more mojo on the road though. Rojo. Wow, that's kind of a pain in the butt, but yeah, I would definitely make it a personal appearance. Sometimes when you're in their system, you just got to play by their rules and you just bite the bullet and get it over with.
What happens if their rules are almost damn near impossible to?
A lot of times they are, but
then what happens? Now,
sometimes we get stuck in those vortices.
Yeah,
there's not much we can do.
And I'm sure Kevin's got stuff to do. He doesn't need to be sitting.
I believe that.
Waiting on the big bench.
I got you.
Yep, so with the Group W bench.
Yeah.
Just bring your 8x10 pictures with circles and arrows on the back of each one.
And play with the pencils. Kev, good luck, my brother. I hope this works out. What a sticky thing.
And the cops, like I said, should I go to the they have the cop training center over here in Massapequa because they're not going to know anything over there because we don't know anything about the court side of it.
No, they're being trained.
Yeah. Maybe they should get trained to read the ticket.
Exactly. Like he said, he goes, well, next time I print one out, I'm going to print the next one and I'll read it.
Oh, good.
Well, keep us up on that progress, Kevin.
Yeah.
I will.
Thank you.
All right, guys, have a good day.
All right, you too. We'll talk soon. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. All righty. Kevin from Massapequa with another question that stumps the band right here. Crowd at Motormouth Radio all scratching their heads. You can watch us scratch right on BornLive.tv/MotormouthRadio. That's Ray Guarino behind the shop bench. I'm Chris Switzer, and of course, the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour car guys that do not own an article of clothing that doesn't have an oil stain on it. That's right. You went before that interview to go check the oil in your car and you got a little drop on that white shirt? Well, if you did, you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. Keep it where you got it. Got a lot more coming your way. Plus, here's a darn good chance we'll be talking to Lou Santiago. Keep it where you got it.
We'll be back with answers to your car questions. Give us a call at 516-572-7440. Oh, I should have said the Motormouth thing.
WHPC 90.3, the radio voice of Nassau Community College, is looking for individuals, businesses, charities, or organizations in our local and global community that would like to donate to support our radio station. Whether you listen locally or online, here is how it works. Go to our webpage at ncc.edu/WHPC and click Donate Now. Or if you prefer, you can send a check to WHPC Radio, 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York, 11530. Make check payable to the NCC Foundation. In the memo of your check, write WHPC Donate Now. Any contributions will help defray our operating costs, and it's tax deductible. This message was brought to you by the radio voice of Nassau Community College. Streaming online at ncc.edu/WHPC.
Let the Motormouths help you with all of your car questions at 516-572-7440.
We're back with a vengeance, right here at Motormouth Radio. Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer. We're going to the phones. We're going to see who's on the line. Say hi, you're on with the Motormouths.
Hey, it's Lou. What are you guys doing?
Hey, Lou, how are you? Lou Santiago, what's doing?
Let me give you the sentence.
Nothing, man. I'm just lollygagging.
Let me tell the listeners. He may not be as pretty as Chip Foose or have the follicular proclivity of Aaron Kaufman.
You're spitting on the mic.
I know. But what he lacks in those areas is made up in spades by his old-school New York attitude. I give you Diamond Lou Santiago, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up,
Whoa. Now I got diamonds. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I figured we'd give you a little bit of a bling there, huh?
Well, it's funny, Lou. You're very special in our hearts because you're coming from the Bronx and all. Ray is originally, she started out in Queens, and I'm still residing in the borough of Brooklyn.
Well, we started out in the Bronx, and then we moved out to Hempstead.
Hempstead!
Yeah, you're right around the block from us.
You know, Lou...
Dale Avenue, man. Dale Avenue.
If I stepped outside the studio with, like, a broken connecting rod, I could hit Hempstead from here.
Yeah, you could.
Yes. Yeah, man. So, it's beautiful.
Yeah, man. We used to race on Oak Street.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Totally.
Now they put stop signs in, though. I know. Yeah. I've done a few high-speed runs down Oak myself.
How did you make
just one or two? Not a lot.
Yeah, just one or two.
How did you make that sweeping turn on Oak Street? How did you clear that?
Well, you got to remember, man, back then the only thing that ran up and down Oak Street was mail trucks.
And buses.
Yeah, and buses. That's right, buses, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was nothing there.
Right.
Wow.
But now I got a good story for you.
Okay.
You know when you're going down Fountain Avenue, right?
Yeah.
The street you turn on to get to, you came off the highway. I can't. It was came off the highway. There was a stoplight. You made a right. You went down a street, and then you got the fountain where all the garbage trucks ran. Remember that?
Yes.
Well, that street was flatlands.
Okay.
And the weekend before I went in the Navy, I'm with my friend Wayne. Wayne's like a brother to me. Mm-hmm. He's the Mopar guy.
Okay.
So we're in his 68 Dart with a 383 and a 4-speed.
Nice.
And we come up to the light, and I got a set of tin sniffs. So I jump out of the car. I shimmy up the light post, stand on the do not walk sign, the yellow sign, the blinking signs, cut the Flatlands Avenue sign off the pole, jump off the light, get back in the car before it goes green.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's a good grip.
I got that sign in my backyard today.
Yeah, I believe it.
On a pole.
So, yeah, of course. Lou, how is it? I mean, we're going to get to your TV stuff and all the other cool stuff too, but I got to know, what's it like living amongst non-New Yorkers. Because, like, we're talking about retirement. I'm saying, I don't know if I can live with these people.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. My first duty station was Coronado, California in 1981. Okay? And I realized that there's a lot of nice people in the world, and that's when I realized I didn't need to go back to New York.
Okay.
Very true.
I mean, seriously, that was the whole thing. Have you ever seen the movie My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, like when he's in the supermarket and people going, "Hey, how's it going?" And he's like, "Hey," and that's what I was like. And then I realized, wow, there's actually nice people in the world.
I just like the line from the Frozen aisle. It was like, "Hey, you know, you could melt all this stuff." It's like great stuff. You know, the thing that I fear the thing I fear the most, of course, is the lack of good coffee, good bagels, good pizza. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but see, like right here,
mm-hmm.
we got Brooklyn's Pizzeria. They're straight from Brooklyn, right? So it's New York pizza.
All right.
Then in Huntersville, there's New York Bagel. The guys from Queens.
Right.
And you can buy Cafe Bustelo's, so we got all three bases covered.
Oh, Bustelo.
But that doesn't mean. But now I'm going to tell you right now. We got enough damn New Yorkers coming down here. They don't need to ruin it like they did Florida, okay?
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you something. You know, I got turned on to Bustelo years ago, and I had to go to a bodega in Freeport to buy it because nobody in my town they didn't sell it. So
yeah.
Now, please describe what Bustelo is.
Cafe Bustelo it's like an espresso blend coffee. It's a very fine blend coffee, and you can only find it in discerning. Well, now the freaking what is it? The King Cullen by me sells it. So. They've
yeah. Well, see, I grew up on it over there.
Yeah.
It's all we drank in the house.
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, I never drank anything else. And then when we found the house in North Carolina, we went into the supermarket here. It's Food Lion, and they're a chain. They're big enough. They own a couple other brands.
Right.
But me and my dad went in there and we asked the manager, like, hey, you know, can you get this coffee? And at the time, they didn't even have like a Latin food section. Like here they have an aisle now dedicated to the Spanish food.
Yeah.
As for in New York, the whole damn store is a Spanish food
Totally,
store, you know?
right around the corner from me. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the manager was like, you know, he goes in the back and he comes and goes, I can get it, but I just can't get you a couple cans.
You got to buy a case.
My dad goes, the hell with that. We want 2 cases.
Yeah. That's it. And you know what? Throw in some El Pico while you're at it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
El Pico was the other brand that was
and we would burn through that stuff like it's nothing. I'm drinking a cup now.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Do you heat up the cream separate in a little pot on the stove?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. We used to do that. We used to do the whole cheesecloth thing and everything, and then my wife had a bone marrow transplant. We had to clean all that stuff out.
Okay.
You know, like you just couldn't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Because the doctor was like, you know, the house has basically got to be scrubbed.
Yeah.
So anything, you know, like we couldn't even for years we couldn't even use cast iron pots.
Wow.
But they don't even recommend using cast iron frying pans.
Yeah, because they withhold the stuff.
Right.
Oh, like
right.
germs and okay.
Right.
But that's
so
something
a lot of the stuff we had to get rid of, and we just never went back to it. You know what I mean?
That's something good to pass down to the kids, though, so they can see their lineage, see their heritage, just to be exposed to it. Because that's kind of yeah, that's cool stuff.
And the funny thing was, this used to be a car show.
It used to be, yeah. But, hey, listen.
10 minutes ago it was a car show. 10 minutes ago.
I've given out my lasagna recipes. We've talked about all sorts of food stuff on this show.
On the air, no less. Yeah. Living in North Carolina, you're not a NASCAR guy, right? So how is it dealing?
Nah, man, I don't do left turns. I don't do left turns.
Yeah.
So how is it living in the middle of NASCAR Central?
It's actually really cool. It really is, because one, there's parts here that they use all the time that, you know, of course, cross over. Mm-hmm. But you can pick stuff up cheap. Like, I haven't bought a center section for a 9-inch Ford all right, let me back up. Mm-hmm. They just recently went up in price. For years, for probably the last 10 years, I was getting 9-inch center sections, Detroit locker, back cut gears, ARP hardware, all safety wired, the billet yoke, the big bearing, everything, $500.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because these guys use them for one race.
Sure.
They'll use them one race, and then they just go away. Well, now like Roush has his own used parts store.
Yeah.
So you go in there, and now I pay $800.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But come on, man, you ain't gonna touch that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, and it's already done.
So, the locker's worth $1,000.
Sure.
You know what I mean? All they run is Detroit lockers.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's all good stuff. The only thing is, instead of being a 411, it might be like a 409. But on the street, who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's negligible on the street. But it's stuff like that, like 9-inch Ford housings. They're falling off the trees around here. It's nuts.
Gee, all we have in trees are sneakers around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Old shoes and power lines.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's pretty.
Visual.
That aspect of it is really cool.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it at all. I kind of like it because when I first moved down here, I was still in the Navy, and I'd drive down from Norfolk on the weekends, stay with the fam, and then head back Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And my neighbor up the street, Scott, the guy's a freaking genius. Our other neighbor, Paul would do side work on other people's round track cars, but Paul was that guy. You know, I mean, like he was that way upper level fabricator / crew chief / whatever you needed him to be.
He was the hired
gun. And I remember, he was a serious hired gun.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time whenever I see Scott's garage lights on, I'd pull in because it's the corner. I got to make the turn there. And I go in there, and I might have been here a month. I go in there, and there's a NASCAR sitting in the garage. and Paul's working. That's how I met Paul. He's working on it. And I want to say it was Harry Gant's Daytona car.
Okay.
And Paul he was one of those guys, he'd be like, see this thing right here? This little thing right here, if it was this way, you'd be 5 miles an hour slower.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
He knew the
like
minutia.
that's how he was. The guy was just phenomenal. And I know you guys remember this because you're old enough. Do you remember when Pontiac's tagline was "We build excitement"?
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. Remember they had the 3rd gen Camaros, the Camaros and Firebirds were out, and they had that pro stock Camaro launch and go down the track at the end of the commercial on one of them. Remember that?
Oh, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The car would launch, take off down the track, and then they go, "We build excitement." Right. Paul Wise built that car in a 2-car garage, campaigned it on the IHRA trail.
Wow.
And it was a championship car.
How cool. Wow, that's great.
Yeah. The dude was out of control.
We go as far back. I think we're all about the same age. We go far back with Pontiac as the wide track guys.
Yeah. Yep, I remember the wide track cars. Yeah.
I think that's Ray, and I think that's your era, my era.
Certainly is.
Definitely is.
Yeah.
I took parts off a lot of those cars.
Which is funny because that's primitive cab forward design.
Yeah, pretty much it is. You're right. It is. You look at when the door opens. You look at the way that curved windshield with the way the door opening is. And it is kind of a cab forward. Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly.
Everything new is old. Everything old is new again. Yeah.
But nothing. That's no one thinks of that. No one wants to admit it.
But the funny thing is that you think of this. You actually take it and look at it that way and go, son of a gun. It's like Ray says. It's everything is old that's new. And
yeah. Thank God we haven't revisited X chassis though.
Oh God, no.
That's something we could live in the 50s.
Yeah. We don't need to go down that road.
No.
We don't need to go down that road.
Hey Lou, I saw a little piece on you that said you were named one of the 5 best car builders and master fabricators in the country.
I don't know where that comes from.
I was hoping you'd know.
I don't. I really don't know. I don't know that. I don't know who wrote that. It just surfaced. I know I didn't write it.
That's a hell of an honor, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's like one day somebody told me I was an expert.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, when of course we watched Muscle Car TV with you and Jared. Now Carfix is one of my favorite shows on Velocity. And when I first caught you on TV, I said, "Wow, there's something about this." You're doing something else. You're looking down and you hear something and you look up. Yeah. And now I'm seeing this dude on TV like with this salt and pepper goatee, and I'm like, Yeah, there's something different about him. What is it? Like, oh, it's his voice. That's what it is. He's one of us. Yeah. So I've been following you and said, I got to get this guy in the show. How does that play in the outside markets? Because Chris and I talk about that all the time. We're always looking to grow our show. And one of the thoughts is, well, how's it going to play in Tennessee? How's it going to play in Wisconsin? New York.
Well, I think the reason why Muscle Car was so successful, and even now CarFix, because the network doesn't advertise CarFix. Occasionally you might get a commercial at dark 30, but you're not going to get it in the middle of the day. I think the reason why it just continues to grow more than anything else is because we teach.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you watch the show, we don't do a whole lot. We're not ripping stuff all the way down and putting stuff all the way back in and running. We're gonna sit there and go, okay, we're gonna put this floor pan in this 55 Nomad like we did. Mm-hmm. We're gonna put this floor pan in, and we're gonna do it where the floor pan is all in one piece.
You want to do another one, by the way?
We're not gonna quarter it. We're gonna put it in one piece.
Lou, you want to do another one? Because I got one of them in my driveway. Needs a floor.
A Nomad?
Yes, sir.
See, you don't need that car. You need to just bring it down to me.
It's going to be that's the next build in the project. It's going to be a gasser.
No, don't make it a gasser.
If you saw it, you'd say, you know what? It's cool. You can make it a gasser.
Lou, I call it an ashtray. It's an ashtray to me.
No. Don't make it a gasser.
Ray, send Lou a picture of the car.
I'll send Lou a picture. What would your suggestion be, Lou? Resto mod?
My suggestion would be build a really nice driver.
Well, I have one of them now. I just finished a project I worked on for 4 years. That's a really nice driver. So I'm thinking, go a little out. I'm getting older, Lou. I got to get this stuff under my belt before it's time for the...
Oh, so you're getting older, so you're going to need a step ladder to get in the car?
Well, I'm thinking, before I need, white shoes and a white belt, Stanza belt slacks, I better do some cool stuff.
Look, don't worry about the Stanza belt slacks, okay? Trust me, you're fine. You're good. Don't worry about the Stanza belt slacks and the barbecue sneakers.
Yeah.
Sneakers, that's what they are, okay? You hang out at the barbecue and talk to the other old guys. But you're not there yet. Don't worry about it. But see, here's the thing. If you build the car at least 4 inches off the ground, you won't need a ladder to get in it. All you have to do is turn and fall in.
Well, that's what I got now. My car is sitting about 5.5 inches off the ground.
So then what's the problem?
No, that one's got
Nomad that way.
That one's got no problem. Yeah, I just thought it
would
be
some
cool.
Build the Nomad that way. Besides, gassers are not fun to drive.
Typically, no. But
they're really not.
They look
so
great.
Why go down that road?
That's the thing up here now. Gases are the big trend up here right now. We have a couple of friends who are into them, and
so you're sheep.
No. Well,
that's part of the flock.
I can see where you would say that, but I got to disagree because
it's pretty simple. You're the one who's saying it. You just don't have the cojones to admit it.
Well, no.
I don't know what else to tell you.
The point I'm looking to make is, and Chris just brought this up about a week ago. I can go back a number of years where I said that was my plan, and then I amended my plan. So I'm only going back to what I originally thought. Now, knowing guys who have the cars, so now I have a knowledge base to tap off of. But
I was going to need what? You didn't have enough knowledge to build it back then when you had the idea? It's a straight axle. How hard is that?
Yeah, well, there's
straight axle, cross steering, Vega box. Hello.
Yeah, but how many guys do you see that run shackles on the front and the rear of those springs, which is actually the wrong thing to do, which is a common misconception. So now, a little like you said before, I'm getting educated in the process of the build.
Run some leaf springs.
Yeah.
All right. Let me help you out here.
Okay.
Get a factory GM axle like from a 56 truck, okay?
Got that.
Get that, convert it to disc brakes,
right.
Run some leaf springs, and put your front leaf spring mount out a couple inches past where the bumper would be, like 2 inches.
Okay.
That way they're out in space. It looks cool. That's just cool factor.
That is
okay?
cool, yeah.
Lou, I'm loving it. I'm not saying a word because I agree with you.
You got to get your moon tank.
Yeah.
Now what year Tri-5 is it?
55.
Okay, so instead of cutting the grill like everybody else does.
No, I don't like cutting.
Okay. Instead of cutting the grill like everybody else does, because that's like the gateway out because they don't have enough imagination.
Yeah.
What you do is you move the tank out and down.
Mm-hmm.
So the radius, the top of the tank, the top radius actually comes underneath the grill a little bit.
Right under that valence panel. Yeah.
Right underneath the valence.
Yeah.
And then the grill is mounted. And then I know this is not period correct, but you make yourself some nice billet bottle holders, tank holders, I mean.
Okay.
And then you get those powder coated black, so it really contrasts against the moon tank.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a cool look. Sure.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it actually, all you'll see is the strap around the tank.
Right.
It'll kind of blend into the back because you're in space. Right. And you'll see the bottom of the engine pretty much. Paint the oil pan black so it blends in. So all of that will just blend in, and all you'll basically see your focus will go to the moon tank.
That happens to be my engine color of choice, which I've taken a lot of grief over the years, is black. So
now,
no
if
stretch
you
there.
really want to do something crazy, if you really want to go out on a limb, and I have it. Because I actually contemplated building a gasser just to use this.
Lou, before you throw it out, let's take a quick break real fast.
All right.
We got to take a break, and then we'll come back and give us the big punch, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Hang on.
Lou Santiago from Garage Insider, Ultimate Car Build, Muscle Car, Car Fix, a whole bunch of wealth of information, and a man that's telling Ray what to do with the ashtray. I am loving this.
Well, listen, Joe D is listening too, and he says gases would scare the farm animals down there, and we don't have to run shine up here. Cool, Joe.
We'll be right back with more of Lou Santiago right here on Motormouth Radio, so please keep it where you got it.
Let the Motormouths help you with all of your car questions at 516-572-7440.
WHPC Garden City, New York, the voice of Nassau Community College.
Join WHPC's Daily News Wrap-Up, weekdays at 4:30 p.m., bringing you a complete report of the day's news home and abroad, as well as sports, weather, and many other informative features.
We're Long Island's FM alternative.
Your car not running right? Let the Motormouths help you out at 516-572-7440.
Hold on to those phones because we have on the line Lou Santiago, who is pretty much figuring out what Ray can do with that 55 Nomad. And I, for one, am just sitting back and relaxing here and just watching the fireworks. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Go get him, Lou.
So where do we leave off on that?
Yeah,
okay, we left off on the only reason why I would build a gasser. Okay? Now, you remember back in the day, the old stainless steel fire extinguishers that they had in like Uniondale High School and Hempstead High?
I have one in my den.
And you pumped them up and you squirted it. Okay, you remember them?
Yes, I do, yes. The water ones.
Well, before they were stainless, they were brass.
That's correct.
Right.
And I've got one from like the 30s, a brass fire extinguisher. And the nameplate from the factory was cast separately, and it's all ornate with all kinds of scroll work, and then it's riveted on to the tank. I have one of those, and that's the only reason why I would build a gasser, so I could use that tank instead of using a moon tank.
Okay, that's a great idea.
The only reason.
No, that isn't.
So you could display the fire
Chris,
extinguisher.
there's a lot of times car builds and bike builds and housework too starts with one piece, one obscure piece, and everything gets built off of that.
You guys are crazy. Lou, I'll tell you the truth. I am more like you because than Ray is, because I like those big, low and slow Electras, Lincolns. Give me a big Caddy DeVille. Give me a big fat station wagon. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
And I always felt that going fast was, well, anybody can go fast. I said, look cool doing 20 miles an hour. That to me is cool.
Yeah, when are you going to attain that goal? That hasn't happened yet either.
The only reason why
Joe wants you to tell him about the TR6. That should be a lot of fun.
I was just going to say, the only reason why I have a TR6 in my garage is because I can close the door behind it. Because if I had a garage that was big enough, there'd be a 60 Lincoln Continental convertible sitting in there.
Yeah,
there you go.
So
there you go.
I totally. So when I see gassers and I'm just like, go ahead, Ray, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. That's the way I look. I want to get in my Electra, just hit the key, boom, just pull away. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want.
Now I can actually lay my hands on a '63 Impala wagon.
Nice.
And here's what I was thinking about doing. If I get that car, what I was thinking about doing is making it a 2-door wagon.
Oh,
but
yeah.
see, here's the thing you got to remember. A lot of guys just weld up the back door.
Right.
But then the car doesn't look proportionate.
No.
All of those frames, all the X frames are 109.
Okay.
I think it is 109-inch wheelbase. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-door, 4-door wagon. It doesn't matter. So what you do is you get a set of Biscayne or Bel Air doors.
You want to hang a set
and
of
then that
coupe
will
doors
make
on
it proportionate.
Yeah.
Huh?
You want to hang a set of coupe doors on
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You move the B pillar back and it makes it proportionate,
Right.
and then you have enough room to get in the back seat.
Right, right.
How would you
when
possibly do that?
Then all you need is a piece of glass. So you get some side glass, get some tempered side glass, and you're good.
That's flat glass. Yeah,
It's
that's
flat.
And that's custom.
Because it's flat.
That is custom.
Yeah.
That's,
That's
you know,
cool.
I want to just redirect a little bit. I want to play a clip that I grabbed because I kind of love it. Let's see. Hopefully the audio will come out, and maybe we'll speak about that. Come on, play.
Ray's third day with his new technology here.
Damn thing. All right, well, let's talk, and then I'll see if I can find it. So much on that.
So, what else do you own, Lou? What else do you have that in your stable of vehicles?
I got a bunch of stuff that's not done because I'm building everyone else's junk.
You're the shoemaker. You have
yeah.
holes in your shoes.
I got a bunch of really cool stuff though.
Mm-hmm.
In the yard, I have 2 international pickups, 64, 67,
wow.
68 Chevy van. It's a panel. I had a Pro Street 68 Chevy van that I did that was a window van.
Oh, cool.
And I actually just gave it to my tow truck guy.
Gave it to him?
Because he takes care of me. So
I was going to say, it
was all done. All I had to do on it. Well, here's the bad part. It's been done like 15 years, and because I never got a chance to finish it, all it needs is to have the brakes plumbed, front disc brakes put on it, and I think that was it.
Oh.
It ran. It's got no miles on it. Engine was rebuilt. Yeah. I mean, I've had to do that a couple of times because I don't have time to finish my stuff. I have a 64 Impala SS factory AC car, 63 Impala, a 64 Bel Air,
wow,
a 66 Caprice wagon.
Oh man,
a 66 2-ton Chevy truck, which is a C60.
Oh, big, yeah.
A 2-ton truck. I want to make that a car hauler. I got a 64 Volvo. Remember the Volvo? It was really round and it was a fastback. It looks,
yes.
like guys have made them up to look like Mercs. Well, I've got the coupe of that.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say, the other thing you have that we obviously don't is space.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sitting on 6.5 acres.
Oh, beautiful.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And half of it's filled with
shop.
cars.
I got a 36 by 40 shop sitting behind the house.
Oh, yeah.
So
and I'm actually expanding it.
Wow. So how did you go from being in the Navy to hooking up with television? How did you end up making that transition?
Well, it was a fluke. It was a total fluke. I never had any. I never tried to get into TV. It never factored into the equation. I found the house. It was an accident. Right. So we turned it buying the house. Me and my wife had decided, let's get a house because I got to the point in the Navy where I had already been past 10 years. I got out, went back in, and now it was past 10 years, and we figured, well, I might as well just stay.
Right.
And then we realized, well, we got to buy a house because all these guys, I'd see all these guys getting out, and then they'd move back home or whatever, and they had no credit, so they couldn't buy a house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because your income changes, all these big changes happen. So we decided, well, let's look for a house, and we found this house. It was just a total fluke. My sister-in-law actually lived like 10 minutes from where we live now, and I found this house, and we looked at it, and I was like, let's try and buy it. Next thing you know, we got a house.
Wow. Nice.
My sister-in-law moves, so we're down here not knowing anybody. So, yeah. So my wife got really sick. That was when Clinton was putting everybody out, so I retired early.
Right.
I left 4 years early. I still get a retirement check, but I lost 10% by leaving early. Mm-hmm. So one day I'm in my shop working. Now, on Sunday mornings on Spike TV, they would have the Three Stooges in the morning, the Power Block, and then the Kung Fu movies from the 70s.
Yep.
We all love Kung Fu movies.
Of course. And the Three Stooges.
And the Stooges. So I would listen to my TV. And I really never cared about the power block. It just never did anything for me. So I was working one day, and on Extreme 4x4, they had a 4-link calculator. It was a free download. And I had just bought a computer. Never had one, so I just bought one. So, and I went about my business. About 3-4 months later, they had a thing, if you think you got what it takes to be a host.
Mm-hmm.
Like another 3-4 months go by, I'm looking for the 4-link calculator. I stumble across this application, and it says across the top that they're done. They're not taking any more applications. Well, here I am, playing on my new computer, and I tried to fill out the application. Well, it filled out, and then when I went to clear it, I didn't know how to delete anything. I hit enter thinking it would make it go away. Well, it sent it off. It made it go away, but it sent it off.
Oh, very good.
Wow.
So a couple of weeks later, I get this email. Don't read it, of course. Like a month later, I look at this email, and they want a headshot, a resume, and a 5-minute video. So, by now Afghanistan had kicked off, and my brother, who's also retired from the Navy, he went to my old command when I retired. When I retired, he got my job.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. He's down here. He's visiting from Norfolk, and we're in my shop. I tell him, hey, man, I got to shoot this video. Shoot some video for me. So we're standing there talking about, all the SEALs that we know because, they're all going to Afghanistan and all this stuff. So we're just talking about the guys that we know because I know all of them too. And he goes, I'm recording this. I'm like, dude, I got to get this done. We start arguing. So I had my shield on. I laid a bead, picked up the there was a ball joint ring. I picked up the ball joint ring in the plate with my glove on, and my glove is smoking. I go, I weld, screw it, and threw it on the table.
Yeah. There's that attitude.
Yep.
So I sent that in a Polaroid instead of an 8x10 on the bottom of the Polaroid. Remember the white strip on the bottom of the Polaroid?
Yeah, you had to shake it to get it to develop.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
I send on the white strip on the Polaroid. I write, they wouldn't let me have the one from the post office.
Yeah.
So I drive around with the thing in my car for like 2-3 weeks, and then I finally mail it. So it's way late. I'm like 6-8 months late.
Wow.
And the next thing I know, they're flying me out to Tennessee to stand in front of the camera, and the network loves me, and everyone loves me. Next thing I know, I'm standing in front of a camera building cars on muscle car.
That is cool. Amazing. You know what differentiates you from the rest of them, Lou, is the fact that I remember when I used to watch the Hot Rod TV, there was always the skinny guy and the fat guy, and they would always banter back and forth. But you can always tell the banter was completely written. Like one of them would say to the other, "Oh, isn't that right, muffler breath?" And you're like, "Come on, can it get any cornier?" And it's like when I listen to you deliver, when you give the information, you're there, you're passionate, you believe what you're saying, and it's just that New Yorker. I must be the New Yorker thing. It just comes through.
Well, you got to realize something. You got to realize something. A lot of car guys on TV are TV guys playing car guys. Yeah. Me and Jared are car guys playing TV guys.
Yeah,
right.
That's a perfect.
You know what I mean? Like we don't use a script.
Right.
Wow. Me and Jared have never used a script.
That is cool.
You guys.
I mean, they literally we'll be working, and the director will come out and he'll say, okay, what are you doing? Well, we got to do this, and this, and I'll be like, okay, well, what do you got to say? And we just tell him.
Yeah. Tell him, I don't know. I haven't said it yet.
Yeah, and he'll just go, okay. And he'll say, roll it.
That's what I love about it. I was just watching my favorite was the 71 Camaro, the Stay Build 360 build. And you definitely
bring Camaro?
Yeah. I mean, Jared is
whenever you... What? No, say it right. It's bitchin' Camaro.
The bitchin' Camaro.
Whenever you refer to Camaro, it's bitchin' Camaro.
Okay, got it. Duly noted. But Jared, you can tell he's a little more laid back, and you definitely bring it out of him. You bring him up, which is very cool. It's you can see the dynamic at work. And I found that little audio clip. Let's see if it'll play here.
Okay.
Here we go again.
Right, here we go again.
It just played 3 times when I was trying to listen to it, of course.
Mind you, Lou, Ray is a pro builder himself. I mean, here's a guy who's classically trained automotively, still can't run his phone.
Well, that's different. Here we go. Of course, when texts come in the middle of the audio clip, it doesn't really work too well. So this is live radio.
Failure!
This is live radio. I will try that again.
Okay, take two.
You know what that means? Yeah. You get this car, you win this car, you beat on this car, you hurt this car. You hurt this car. We'll come find you. That's right. And don't come crying up to fix it.
That was for the giveaway for the Stay-Built Camaro. I love the delivery.
But that's the truth. And you know what? That's what shows. Ray and I have done this show, Lou. I swear to God, I'm playing the music. I look at Ray. I don't know what the heck I'm going to say to him. I look at him, and he looks at me and says, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, I don't freaking know. We're doing an hour-long car show. I don't know what the heck we're going to talk about.
Only an hour?
Yeah, and I'm playing the music. We don't have a thing to say to each other. And you know what? We fill the hour. We always do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got enough left to do another hour.
Okay.
Just kept going. Yeah.
You know, that was the thing. We were asked a couple of years ago to be part of a TV show that was on when it was the Speed Network, and we filmed it up in the Bronx at BS&F Auto Parts. And you know, we played radio guys doing a radio show on the street. They set up a tent, and it was Left Field Productions. Those guys were so cool. That the directors would come over and say, "All right, this guys, I just need you to talk about this guy's car and just fill in, just ad lib." Because he learned, like, we can't give us lines. We don't remember them. You know, we're not that smart.
Right.
And it was great. It just, everything just flowed. It was, when you can work in your element, it really is.
So when you watch someone else that can do that as well and see you do it, it's such a breath of fresh air. It's like, you know, when we grow up, we want to be you.
Well, see, there's half the problem. You want to grow up.
Yeah.
So you will never achieve it if you want to grow up.
Yeah, true.
Because mentally, I'm like 10.
Good point. Yeah, well, you know, listen to some of our shows, and I think you may make the same determination. But, you know, we're actually, our clock is ticking. I want to talk about, of course, Car Fix, and I want to talk about GarageInsiderTV.com.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Well, either one. You want to...
Shall we take a break real fast?
Start talking.
All right, let's take a break real fast. When we come back...
Chris is shutting me down again. That's what we're doing.
We got to take a break. So, all right, let's play some music. We're on the phone with Lou Santiago, Garage Insider, Car Fix, Ultimate Car Build, Muscle Car, a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to be talking about it right here on Motormouth Radio and the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. We got car guys that don't own an article of clothing that's not oil stained. That's right, you check your oil with your tuxedo on, you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. So keep it where you got it. Got a lot more coming your way.
Let the Motormouths help you with all your car questions at 516-572-7440.
For nearly 25 years, attorney Kenneth Landau in Mineola and his expert guests have been educating our listeners about their legal rights. After an accident, when buying and selling real estate, concerning wills and estates, the criminal justice system, employment, business law, and much, much more. You too can learn about the law and your legal rights on Law You Should Know. Every Monday at 4 p.m., Tuesday at 1 p.m., or Sunday at 7 a.m., right here on 90.3 FM WHPC, the radio voice of Nassau Community College. Streaming at ncc.edu/WHPC.
Let the Motormouths help you with all your car questions at 516-572-7440.
Hold on to that phone. We're on with Lou Santiago right here on Motormouth Radio. Rig Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer. And when we left...
I want to talk about how I just became if you can say copper, if there's any copper left, but a penny member of GarageInsiderTV.com, which is a website that Lou runs with a cool message board and forum. That's I'm hoping for good things from this.
Very cool. Very cool.
Tell us what the impetus is, Lou. I mean, what's the deal? What's
the end goal for GarageInsiderTV.com is I want to do video, and I want to do videos that are really, really heavy in tech, like, you know, narrowing a rear end step by step.
Nice.
This is how you do it, why you do it, you know, that kind of stuff from start to finish. And a guy can go in his shop, you know, download it on his phone or whatever and narrow a rear end. Well, the end goal is to use the forum to help drive video production. Just pulling stuff out of the air. Say I got a guy who wants to build a quadrijet, right?
Right.
And I haven't built a quadrijet in 20 years, but Ray knows how to build a quadrijet. Well, I get Ray over here. We build a quadrijet.
Right.
And we video it. And then this guy can go in his shop, tear his quadrijet off his car, and rebuild it.
Right.
that's the end goal, because the thing is, you know, the trades are dead. You know what I mean? You know, Mike Rowe talks about it all the time. There's no one teaching this stuff.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody wants to just, I'll just go buy it. Well, you know what? Right. What happens when you don't have the money to buy it? What happens if you just can't afford to buy it? You got to fix it.
Sure. I was going to say, yeah, even if you buy it, sometimes you have to fix it, and if you haven't been inside of it, yes.
And you mean there's going to be no yelling at each other? There's going to be no drama? There's going to be no
drama because I'm not interested in that. And the people that watch the show aren't interested in that.
You're right, and we don't blame you.
I mean, you know, I get guys. I get guys that are old enough to be my father and my grandfather at shows, and they'll come up to me. They don't want an autograph. They'll tell me flat out, I like watching your show because I feel I learned something.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And see, to me, that's the biggest compliment.
You're right.
Absolutely. You know, Lou, you and I were talking on the phone about education and educating kids, and I told you we're hooked up with the AutoZeum over here, which is a teaching museum that partnered with BOCES. There's the magic word of education that's kind of gone. And you got to see the stuff that they're doing. These kids are learning how to build movie cars and props and vacuum forming stuff, as well as machine skills, and that's the stuff that Chris and I jump into full bore.
We love it.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, man, people don't understand that stuff's dying. I remember when I was in high school, I went to my guidance counselor and said, hey, you know, I'd like to do at least 2 years of college, and he told me, he said, well, you know what? You wouldn't make it in college, so just go turn wrenches. Just go be a mechanic. That's what. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I went and got a 2-year degree after I retired.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm doing cars. But I think I did pretty well.
Yes.
In the long run.
Yep.
So I'm pretty I'm pretty happy with what I got. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're very impressed with what you have and what you're doing, and the fact that we agree with it, the fact that we support it, and we believe in it. Is just monumental. I think that's wonderful because it's what you're doing. I always feel, Lou, that there's two types of people now in this world. There's those people that you can learn from, you can walk away with something more and different, and then there's those people that drain you dry. And it's so funny.
Right.
You always try and embrace and be drawn to those people that can build you up, those people that you can learn from. And what you're doing now is just fantastic. We love it.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather fix it. You know what I mean? Or at least attempt to fix it than to buy it.
Oh, yeah.
That's my thing. You know, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to just sit there and buy it because you can use that money for something else that's better spent.
Beer and pizza.
Exactly.
Actually, that's the blurb I put on GarageInsiderTV.com. I put a little, get to know you, a little blurb about who I am. And that's what I said, something to the effect of, I'd rather, and I've said this to people all the time when they look at the car that I'm driving now. I said, I'd rather use a good old part that I could fix or tweak and keep going than put something new on there. And there are some exceptions. Yeah. Suspension is all new, other things are new, but it's just the mindset is what it is.
Even still, there's not a lot of people rebuilding front ends.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, nowadays they sell the whole control arm. What happened to buying the ball joint and replacing the ball joint?
Right.
Very true. Very true.
You know what I mean? What happened to replacing the upper control arm bushings? What happened to that? People don't do it, man.
That's true.
They don't, and I don't understand. I don't understand where this shift happened, where it became a throwaway society where you just buy everything. I don't understand that.
Well, since we stopped buying Japanese goods and ended up going to Korea and China and all of that, let's not go there, please, because I'm on a high here. I don't want to be brought down.
You know, it's funny. We're coming up to the top of the hour, and we wish we did have another hour to talk with you. This has just been fantastic.
Well, hey, all you got to do is call me back.
I will do that. I will definitely. I got you in my phone. I got you in rotation, and we would love to have you back again, Lou. We will. We'll certainly follow up on this.
How can someone get a hold of you with any questions or any comments if you so choose to?
They can go to GarageInsiderTV.com or GarageInsider@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's my email address. Mm-hmm. And the forum is actually free to join. It only has 100 members because I'm not advertising it because I'm trying to get the video thing going.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want if people join and post stuff on there, that's great, and I don't have a problem with it. But if you notice, it's there's not a lot of activity,
right?
Because that was an easy thing to put together, so I can start, so I can keep moving.
All right. So
but I'm down to the last piece. Once I expand my shop, which I'm going to start doing after SEMA, I'm hopefully going to start doing the video stuff.
We're going to join. That's for sure.
Lou,
Yeah, join. I mean, post pictures. I mean, have a blast.
Yeah, I put a couple up. Yes, I put 3 up yesterday. In fact.
Good. Did you see the convertible Camaro that I was building on there?
I didn't. I didn't go through the whole site. I was kind of doing a hit and miss because I was at work. But I will get back and do some spend some time with it. Promise.
Keep this in mind. The top of the door on that convertible Camaro, the top of the door is 33 inches off the ground.
Oh, nice.
Oh, man.
That's motorcycle seat height.
Holy smoke.
Lou, we'll be in touch, and we thank you for coming on, man.
Yes.
All right, guys.
All right.
Take it easy,
talk
man.
To you soon.
We'll talk soon. Thank
Thanks.
you. Bye-bye.
Later.
That was Lou Santiago.
33 inches.
Oh, my gosh. From Car Insider, Car Fix, from Ultimate Car Build and Muscle Car. You can check it out at motormouthradio.com if you missed any of that fantastic interview. For Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer. This is Motormouth Radio. Always remember, don't follow us home. See ya.
Joel. This is Piano Man on 90.3 FM, WHPC, Garden City, New York.
Le 9 di sera di un sabato, già la solita gente vien giù. C'è un vecchio qui accanto a me, porteggia un bicchiere di più. Dice: senti, mi canti una musica, la più